I was having y'all, your boy Rico from RicoScores, and earlier today, as y'all saw, we did a full breakdown on the Adam Peters and Lance Newmark press conference that went down yesterday. Now, this video, we're doing a full dive into all of the chaos and stupidity that's been going on the internet right now, especially concerning Jayden Daniels, from going all the way back to yesterday, all the way through to right now. I mean, we even have a recent report that just came out as of a few minutes ago that I'm starting to record this video. So this is everything that you need to know based on what Adam Shefter is saying, Jayden Daniels' agents have been saying, all of that type of stuff, man. So we have one Jayden Daniels agent now fighting back against the other one and giving a completely conflicting viewpoint on the whole situation. Also, we have these rumors that Jayden Daniels does not want the Washington Commanders to draft him and that he hated the whole top 30 visit with Top Golf and all of the quarterbacks there together. He hated the fact that he didn't get as much individual time as he probably thought that he wanted to or hope that he could. We have a lot more Adam Shefter updates. We have like 3 or 4 separate Adam Shefter updates to get to. So before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Man, I say that so much I feel like I can fly through it like an automated message, like I'm AI type thing. But either way, make sure you follow all of the social medias, man, the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook, all of that, because again, I post content on there that I don't even necessarily post on the YouTube. So make sure you follow because we're taking over everywhere. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you stay tuned because we're working on film sessions for the draft prospects. I have a mock draft that I need to get to for y'all. My final mock draft prediction, what I think will happen more so than what I want to happen. I also need to work on a call-in live show stream for y'all to call in and voice your opinions on what you think will happen in the draft, what you want to happen, all of that type of stuff. So make sure y'all stay tuned. I have so much content on the way, 2-3 videos a day leading all the way up to and probably through the draft as well. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and get to this video right now. Sorry this took so long. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so first of all, I saw a report from ML Football. Tweet said, report, LSU star quarterback Jayden Daniels thought his visit with the Commanders would be just for him, not all of the other top quarterbacks per Adam Shefter. Quote, Daniels' camp is unhappy with Washington. That was the first report. Then you saw Adam Shefter say on ESPN, quote, it did not seem to go over too well with his agent who sounded off on social media that he didn't seem particularly pleased with the process. Daniels thought it would be a visit for just him, but Washington essentially opened up the process, unquote. So maybe we were to a point where Jayden Daniels felt like he was the pick and that we would basically bring him into a top 30 visit just to kind of, formality. Like you should do a top 30 visit with the quarterback you're going to end up taking. He just thought it was going to be, okay, we'll just do the things that we're supposed to do, but it looks like I'm the pick. And then the fact that we brought in all of the top quarterbacks and took them to Top Golf made him probably doubt, well, maybe they actually don't like me as much. I don't know. That's just me throwing an idea out there as I'm reading the Adam Shefter report. Then you have Mike Florio hating himself over here saying that, quote, I'm going to get drafted by one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL over the last quarter century. They got new management. Why should I want to play there? Unquote. It's a whole clip, like a whole video, almost 2 minutes long of him just basically bashing the Commanders. And this is the second time he's addressed the Commanders within the past week and how we did our top 30 visit thing, and basically saying that the way that we went about it is nonsense and that basically Jayden Daniels should be upset about how we treated him and things like that. We're going to have all of the rebuttals for that a little later on about how other successful teams have done very similar things, but for some reason now when the Commanders do it, it's suddenly a problem. But Mike Florio, I mean, he just really seems to hate us. Like, I don't understand why he hates us so much. Why you gotta say we're the most dysfunctional franchise in your rant, dog? Like, why did that even come up? What did we do to you? Like, he must be trying, I'm assuming his agenda is to get Jayden Daniels to fall to the Vikings or something. I don't know. And my dog Josh Taylor on YouTube and Twitter brings up a great point on Florio, even outside of just how Florio clearly hates the Commanders. My boy Josh Taylor, who again follow on Twitter and YouTube, tweeted, Florio suggests Jayden Daniels might not want to come to Washington. That's a pretty aggressive statement if you don't actually know. Slightly irresponsible to say publicly and assume, number one, that's how he feels, and number two, why he feels that way. And I completely agree right there. And I'm also on the same wavelength of Trey007 on Twitter when he tweeted about Mike Florio and said, I am absolutely convinced that he, along with a lot of folks in the media, missed Dan Snyder. Dan made their jobs easier because there was always something to talk about. There are finally normal people and professionals in charge right now, and it has folks missing the drama, so they got to generate it on their own right now. I completely agree with that statement right now. I feel like Mike Florio is definitely one of the many people in the media that are doing that right now. There's not much to talk about. We already know Caleb Williams is going #1 overall to the Bears. So now the very next pick in the draft, the Commanders, and they have a history of being dysfunctional, even though this is a completely different franchise top to bottom than the dysfunctional side that we've had in our history the past 30 years. We're still just going to nitpick them. We're going to pick on them. We're going to try to find as much drama as possible. We're going to talk about a top golf event that quarterbacks went to for over a week straight just to stretch the news and just to create drama, generate clicks, views, all of that type of stuff. And remember, Evan Silva said like a couple of weeks ago, though, that Jayden Daniels did not want to play for Washington because his top 30 visit didn't go smoothly. But also remember that report is ridiculously false because he didn't even have his top 30 visit yet when Evan Silva said that. So is everybody spreading this rumor that Jayden Daniels doesn't want to go to the Commanders, just lying, just flat out just lying, just that's what we're doing right now? Or are there just a couple of bad sources like Evan Silva, who was wrong, Mike Florio, who's clearly hating, that's making the other good sources that are saying the same thing as those guys look crazy? Who knows right now? Who knows at all? And is this drama to the point that the Commanders may not even want to deal with Jayden Daniels at all at this point? Like, is this like a red flag for Jayden Daniels in the eyes of the Commanders? Is there fire where there's smoke, or just a case of the Lions season blues? Who knows right now? Well, first of all, let's talk about how multiple people have now recently come out and talked about how the way that the Commanders conducted their top 30 visits is not as unusual and rare as people think. And that basically, if any prospect actually had a problem with it for real, it's more of a bad look on the prospect than the team that actually conducted the meetings that way, as in the Commanders in this case. Because both ex-tight end Logan Paulson and the Charles Davis both said on the Craig Hoffman and Logan Paulson podcast that they know of and experienced similar pre-draft situations with other teams they both even talked about the fact that format has been very effective. Like the group interviews, they can work out very well for teams, and the Commanders were very well in their right to set their top 30 visits up in a way that all of the top guys came at the same time, and even to go further, that taking them on a top 30 top golf visit, that it actually makes sense and it could work out. Also, Bill Belichick said a couple of days ago that he used to bring in a lot of draft prospects at the same time as well. And even more specifically to the Commander situation of taking prospects to a fun event like Top Golf specifically, Josh Norris came out and tweeted, what was this, earlier today? Yeah, this was earlier today. He said, when I was with the Los Angeles Rams, they would bring in a number of prospects at once, take them to Dave & Buster's, observe how they interact with the public or even peers who might also be competitors for a draft slot. Seems like Washington basically did the same thing. And I do want to point out the fact that that is a team that has won a Super Bowl recently, fairly recently. And speaking of teams and Super Bowls in the same sentence, when Adam Peters was with the 49ers in 2022, he did an interview right next to John Lynch, standing right next to him, where he talked about taking a bunch of prospects to Top Golf then. This is still while he's the assistant general manager for the 49ers at the time of this interview. And granted, they didn't win the Super Bowl recently, but they were just in it just a couple of months ago, and they were even in overtime, so they were very close. My point is, these are very successful teams that are saying that this strategy works for them, and basically backing the Commanders in their decision to do what they just did with the Top Golf 30 visits, everybody coming at the same time. And it's really crazy because in the interview that Adam Peters, when he talks about the 49ers taking a lot of draft prospects to Top Golf for the 49ers again, not even for the Commanders. This is 2022 when they did it, when Adam Peters was still the assistant general manager for the 49ers at the time. In that interview, he talked about how the player that they ended up choosing was the guy that ended up actually being the best golfer at Top Golf. And I really hope that that does not weigh that much in their decision-making process at all. I'm just assuming that that's a coincidence right there, but he did mention in that interview that the guy that they ended up choosing ended up being the guy that was the best golfer. So I mean, hopefully that's not the case necessarily here. I mean, I hope they just choose correctly, but that would be crazy if that's like a real factor in this whole thing, man. That would be insane. And shouts out to Will Big Boss 28 on Twitter, because he brings up a funny but great point. He's tweeting from the point of view of Commanders fans right now. And he said, first, Commanders fans are basically saying we should be like successful organizations like the 49ers. Then he said, Commanders do what 49ers have done in the past. And then he goes back to the fans, all caps, what are we doing? And I just feel like that is a funny thing, that when the 49ers do it, everybody loves it. And then the Commanders fans want the Commanders organization to do exactly what the 49ers are doing, exactly what they did to get to the point to where they were just in the Super Bowl just a few months ago. They want the Commanders to follow that exact blueprint. And then when we literally follow the exact blueprint, Commanders fans, well, not all of them, but some of them are freaking out and asking, what are we doing? And thinking that we shouldn't be doing it, even though this is literally what you asked for in this process. Also, shouts out to @Washington Today, because he just flat out said on Twitter that all of the Jayden Daniels stuff over the last 24 hours is so stupid. It's all speculation. We should not be reading into it as much as we do. And also shouts out to DC Sports XP, because he brings up another great point about how Adam Schefter is just keeping the money flowing and putting food on the table with all of this mess that he keeps reporting on. And I'm not gonna lie, if I were him, I'd probably do it too. I'm not gonna lie. But DC Sports XP said Schefter is basically just feeding the machine right now. First, he says it's okay to go get your Jayden Daniels jerseys. Then is now reporting Daniels' camp is frustrated with the Commanders. And he basically says shoot this draft process into the sun. He's sick of it, and basically is saying that Adam Schefter is literally just flip-flopping back and forth with the reports to basically just generate clicks and views right now. And very similar to what I've said in a previous video already, Brian Baldinger agreed with my point and said as far as Jayden Daniels' agent goes, as far with him not liking the Top Golf event outing, he said, quote, I wouldn't really care what an agent says. Agents aren't playing. Agents say things all of the time for leverage. If Jayden wants to go play for the Raiders, that's not how this league works. If I was Daniels, I'd want to play for Washington, unquote. I completely agree. Why do we care what the agents have to say? And moving on, I do feel that it is weird that Jayden Daniels has not said anything yet to address this mess. And it's not weird in general for a draft prospect to ignore drama centered around his name, but Jayden Daniels already has a history of shutting down rumors just recently as this offseason, just like a couple of weeks ago. Remember when there were rumors going around about Jayden Daniels' elbow last month, even though that it was clearly Photoshop or like a glitch in the photo, he still went out of his way to tweet about it and squash it, say that his cap and everything like that. And then when rumors surfaced weeks ago from Evan Silva, who we talked about a little bit earlier, about how his meetings with Washington did not go smoothly, even though we clearly didn't have any meetings with them yet, actually. So that was just so obviously just a lie. He even went out of his way to tweet about that and squash that rumor as well. So now I'm looking around like, why hasn't he come out and squashed this rumor this time? It would be different if he had a history of always ignoring rumors about him, but he's already addressed two big rumors about him very recently, and now he's choosing to finally ignore arguably his biggest rumor yet, in my opinion. It could be nothing, but it also could be something. It does say a lot that a guy that has already previously addressed rumors centered around his name is now staying silent with this rumor specifically. Maybe he actually agrees with the rumors this time around. And then there's also some parallels to the Ben Johnson fiasco that we already had, that we went through a couple of months ago. You can already see some parallels there, and even just betting odds favorites wise right now. Jayden had a huge lead for a long time, but now there's been a huge change since the Top Golf Gate. We could just call it Top Golf Gate at this point, because Jayden Daniels went from the negative 350 odds to be the second overall pick, which was like a 78% implied probability. And then somehow within just one day, just 24 hours, he is now only at negative 135 odds, which is an implied probability of 57% to be the second overall pick. That's a 21% difference in just 24 hours. What happened? Drake Maye has now gone from plus 240 odds to plus 100 odds, which is not far from Jayden Daniels at all right now. So what is actually really going on? But I do completely agree with Albert Breer when he talks about these betting lines. We keep talking about these betting lines. I know I keep updating y'all on them, but I completely agree with Albert Breer's point right here. I'm giving y'all the updates, but I really don't want y'all to look too deep into them. I'm going to talk about later in this video why I still keep making videos like this, and I want y'all to come away with your own conclusions. We'll get there later. But first of all, remember when Ben Johnson was the runaway favorite to become our head coach just like a couple of months ago? Now look at us. But again, also Albert Breer said in a tweet, we really need to stop acting like Vegas has some sort of pipeline to draft information. The lines are moving based on what's readily available out there for all of us to understand and know. Basically, all of the information that they have is the same exact information that I'm basically giving you in these videos. They have no further background information, no inside sources, no nothing. They're basically just going with where the money is going right now. There's no wise guy who's got war rooms tapped right now. Sorry if that makes you feel like Santa isn't real. That's the Albert Breer tweet. Again, I completely agree. But then, as of earlier today, somebody from Jayden Daniels' camp himself came on Twitter and said everything that we just talked about for the past 15 minutes is fake news. All of the whole, and I covered it in another video yesterday, that Jayden Daniels' agent, one of the agents, doesn't like how the Commanders went about this whole top 30 visit thing, Top Golf. Now you have another agent of Jayden Daniels. It was Ron Butler who was upset. Now you have Ira Turner at Agent Turner 1 tweeting fake news with a yawn emoji. So those are two completely conflicting viewpoints from two agents representing the same player as in Jayden Daniels right now. This is chaos. This is absolute stupidity in my opinion. And this is apparently another agent of Jayden Daniels. Even though the first agent seemed to hate how the Commanders did this, the second agent is making it seem like this is just trivial drama, especially with the yawn emoji he used. He's making it seem like yeah, this is just typical media stupidity going on right now. It's lion season. Don't even pay attention to all the reports that you're seeing right now about Jayden Daniels in our camp. One agent, who knows what he was thinking, but I can tell you right now, as another agent of Jayden Daniels, all of this is just pure nonsense. And then hours later, Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show. And then he said, quote, Jayden Daniels since the outset has had an interest in being in other places. He just has. There has been plenty of players who have wanted to play elsewhere and teams do not care. They do what they do. I still think he's the favorite to go number 2 overall, unquote. There's a lot of really interesting information to unpack there. And to basically put it simply, Adam Schefter is saying that it has been tracking for Jayden Daniels to go at number 2 overall. It feels like Jayden Daniels has interest in being in other places, but we'll see what the Commanders do with that information, basically. And so, if the Commanders still want to take him, even if he reportedly doesn't want to come here, what's he going to do about it? You're going to still end up getting drafted here. It's not free agency. You have to go where you're drafted and perform. And then, you never know. Maybe he falls in love with the Commanders, even though he didn't necessarily love the Top Golf event. So, even after all of this, Adam Schefter is still predicting that the Commanders will end up drafting Jayden Daniels second overall, even if that is against his wishes as far as Jayden Daniels goes. So that's crazy. Apparently, there's a strong chance that Jayden Daniels does not even hate the Commanders. And there's also a pretty good chance that even if he does hate the Commanders will still end up drafting him. That's all pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. And shouts out to George Carmi for this meme right here. He tweeted, Jayden Daniels' agent shares that he was upset about the Top Golf incident. Adam Peters, that's cute, Jayden. What number do you want? Welcome to DC, unquote. And yeah, that's basically how this probably will end up going down. Doesn't matter how much Jayden Daniels doesn't want to come here. If he's not willing to pull an Eli Manning, go ahead and get ready to get that number 5 off of Tressway and put on this burgundy and gold uniform and take us to some Super Bowls, dog, because it really doesn't matter. And shouts out to Tan Top Podcast for having this recap. Basically, First of all, Daniels' agent likes tweet questioning draft visit methodology. Then Daniels' agent likes tweet saying his liking of tweet was misunderstood. Then Schefter reports Daniels' camp is upset about the visit, and then Daniels' other agent responds calling it fake news. So basically, we're right back to where we started. Nothing has moved, nothing has changed, none of this really matters at all at the end of the day. Which is why, again, I always tell y'all in these videos that I'm only here to give y'all all of the information and opinions that I have at my own disposal. It is up to y'all to walk away with your own conclusions, to come to your own conclusions and all that type of stuff. I'm not trying to convince y'all to think one way or another at all. I'm just simply keeping y'all updated on everything that's going on out there on the internet right now. That's the sole purpose of these videos. I have no agenda, no nothing. And now, as of just a few minutes ago, as I'm literally recording this, Adam Schefter just reported that Jayden Daniels is reportedly disappointed in the fact that he didn't get as much individual contact with the Commanders as he was hoping for and expecting walking into his visit. And Adam Schefter also said that Jayden Daniels knows that his opinion doesn't necessarily even matter, and that he cannot control where he ends up going in the draft, except, of course, if he wants to pull an Eli Manning, I guess, if he wants to go that far, but that's about it. Adam Schefter also went on to say that Jayden Daniels is prepared to go wherever he is drafted and ball out no matter where it is, even if it is the Commanders who he's reportedly upset with right now. And Adam Schefter even continued to say that he still feels that Jayden Daniels will go second overall to the Washington Commanders, even with all of this drama and chaos. Schefter ended his report literally saying that Jayden is ready to go be the face of the Washington Commanders franchise if we end up taking him. So even in spite of all of this drama, worst case scenario, Jayden will still be ready to go out there and ball out and lead the Commanders to some Super Bowls if that's where he ends up landing. So again, we're right back to where we started. What did any of this matter? Like, what was the point of any of this drama that just went down? And shouts out to Will Big Boss 28 again, because he had this funny meme of Jayden Daniels and how he experienced Topgolf right here. He said, so to recap the top 30 visit, this was Jayden Daniels while all of the other quarterbacks were out there having fun and having a good old time. And I thought that was actually really funny. And moving on, also, I honestly feel like even though I do prefer Jayden Daniels slightly over Drake Maye, if he is truly that bothered by that Topgolf visit, then maybe he wasn't the right pick in the first place. I don't actually believe he was as upset as a lot of people are reporting though. Just me personally, more so just because that's just ridiculous. Like, there's just no way it's that serious, dog. There's no way you're that mad about having to go to Topgolf, dog. There's just no way. If anything, I would have enjoyed it. I would have felt like that would have been a great breakaway from the mundane and typical interviews and top 30 visits that you've been having with all of these other teams, like I've already talked about in another video. So I just don't understand. And then Mitch Tisler also brings up a great point when he tweeted, remember when Caleb Williams wanted to own a piece of a team? Then he didn't want to play for Chicago. There were rumors that he may have wanted to even pull an Eli Manning. Now look, he's locked in there. The first consequential pick of the draft is actually just the Commanders. Take all of this with a big grain of salt. I completely agree. It doesn't matter what drama is centered around Jayden Daniels. If Adam Peters prefers Jayden Daniels over Drake Maye, we're going to take Jayden Daniels. It just doesn't matter. Caleb Williams' drama in comparison, which Mitch Tisler is bringing up, was even more dramatic and more chaotic than what we're dealing with right now with Jayden Daniels. And he's still a lock to go to the Bears and nobody cares anymore. He's already the face of the franchise. The draft hasn't even happened yet. So if you think this Jayden Daniels drama is that bad to the point that we shouldn't draft him, remember the Caleb Williams drama was even worse, and Bears fans have already rallied around him. The franchise already rallied around him to the point that he didn't even take visits with other teams. His only top 30 visit was with the Bears. He already knows he's going there. He's already embraced it. He's ready to go be the face of their franchise. Also, I can see a scenario though where Jayden is actually unhappy about the top 30 visit format, and then the Commanders basically realized it, heard about it, and then they told him to basically suck it up because you're about to be a Commander. And then Jayden Daniels went to tell his camp to let everybody outside know, to put it out there to the media, that he is ready to be the franchise face of the franchise for the Commanders and ball out no matter where he goes, even if it is Washington. Because maybe he already knows that we're taking him and that the Commanders told him to basically chill out with all of the drama, get over it, come here and get this franchise jersey. We don't care what you think about that top 30 visit, that top golf event. Just come here and be our franchise quarterback. Go ahead and put it out there to the media that you're ready to be a franchise quarterback, even if we do take you, because there's no point of allowing this drama to keep going any longer. But I'm not gonna lie though, it is crazy though that some digging was done a while ago as a random question was asked by an interviewer when Jayden Daniels was still quarterbacking for LSU. Somebody asked him, what is a skill that you wish you had? And shouts out to @DrakeMay MVP for pulling this up. Jayden Daniels said,
I wish I was good at golf.
Like, nah, dog, that's crazy. That's crazy when you really think about where we are right now. That is insane. And it doesn't help at all when you see this clip of Drake May going around where it looks like Top Golf is his second sport. I mean, his swing looks so pure and smooth. It looks like he's been doing it. So it doesn't help that Jayden Daniels said a while ago, months ago, before this whole Top Golf event was even thought of from his point of view, that he wished he could become better at golf. And then you see clips of Drake May being really good at golf, and now we're to a point where Jayden Daniels hated the golf event. It's kind of like, well, we should have seen this coming. This is just all so stupid and chaotic. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, honestly though, has anybody really sat back yet and thought about the fact that all of this chaos is mostly coming just from a couple of likes and a couple of emojis? Like, literally, this is really silly, y'all. And even worse, we're talking about agents, likes, and emojis. That's it. Outside of sources speaking on behalf of Jayden Daniels, not even Jayden Daniels himself, the only real opinions that we're seeing and hearing right now that are coming directly from people that even sort of matter are not coming from the quarterbacks themselves. If it were the quarterbacks themselves, then maybe we would have at least a little bit of something to go off of, and with all of this drama that we have going on. But we're talking about agents right now. I can hear it in Allen Iverson's voice right now. Agents? We're talking about agents? I know Adam Schefter is reporting from the point of view of Jayden, but we haven't heard from Jayden Daniels himself yet. We haven't heard Jayden Daniels say anything about this situation yet at all, and we just basically have two Jayden Daniels agents sending conflicting messages, and then Adam Schefter giving us updates every 5 to 8 hours. That's all we have to go off of right now. And again, at the end of the day, if Adam Schefter still wants to take him amidst all of this drama, none of this matters. It literally doesn't. He's going to have to go out there and suit up and be the face of this franchise. And I completely agree with Chuck G716 on Twitter when he said, quote, I'm sorry, but I could give a F word about how Jayden Daniels' agents feels. Just answer the phone when we send the pick in and go sit your A word down somewhere. Because again, it doesn't matter what these agents think at all, man. It really doesn't. Also, even beyond that, I want to keep reiterating that whoever Adam Peters drafts at number 2 overall, whether it be Drake May, Jayden Daniels, whoever, we as a fan base should give them the extreme benefit of the doubt that they not only chose the right guy for their vision of becoming Super Bowl contenders, but also that they're going to do everything in their power to help that quarterback succeed. I'm talking schematically, with designing the right offense around him to bring out his strengths and hide his weaknesses. I'm talking about all of these several proven quarterback developers that we have in this coaching staff developing the quarterback. I'm talking about building the team around him personnel wise, and even adjusting the remainder of the 2024 draft around which players can help make the second overall pick a better quarterback and to succeed as most often as possible. Like, if you draft receivers, say second or third rounds, make sure you draft receivers that fit well with how the second overall pick likes to throw the ball, where he likes to throw the ball, all of the things like that. It's really simple, honestly. And I personally prefer Jayden Daniels over Drake May, but at the same time, I'm very happy with either one. Most importantly, I have plenty of faith that no matter who they choose between the two quarterbacks, this front office and coaching staff is going to get closer to that quarterback's ceiling than to their floor. I can envision an offense where both of these guys will end up leading Washington to greatness for the next 10 plus years. And that's more so faith in what the Commanders have built from the ground up, the foundation that they've created, more so than even just the talent of these quarterbacks themselves. But that's just me. That's just how I feel about it personally. That's why I'm perfectly happy with either of the two quarterbacks, even though I do prefer Jayden Daniels. And the saddest part is that this debate will probably never end. Go ahead and buckle up for that, y'all. I really hope that people know that this Commander Civil War will not end after the second overall pick is selected. There's going to be a lot of people who never get on board just because the Commanders did not draft the quarterback that he or she wanted and preferred. And now I can see these types of quarterbacks are going to consistently nitpick the quarterback that we did take and constantly compare him to the other quarterbacks that we did not take. I just hope y'all are ready for that. I'm chilling. I know I am. I'm cooling. I don't care. But I hope y'all know and are aware of the fact that this Commander Civil War in this quarterback situation will not end as of the first day of the draft. It's going to continue on for years to come. And also, before we get up out of here, not only does Florio seem to hate us, but it also seems like Pro Football Talk has something against us as well. Because they reported just at 12 p.m. noon, just about 8 hours ago that I'm recording this, they said, source, new Commanders owner Josh Harris has been more involved than expected. And that's how you can tell they're just straight up hating. Them, Florio, a lot of reporters out there, a lot of the media out there are just finding a reason to hate on the Commanders. Because first of all, Resh Manuel already did a great job of cooking them and rebuttaling the report. He said on Twitter, you just spend a record-setting $6 billion on the franchise, and the first pick of your regime is at the most visible position in all of sports. One that impacts on-the-field results, sales, and positive brand awareness as you look to build a new stadium. But you shouldn't be involved, and he tweeted out, all caps FOH. Y'all already know what that means. But then on top of all of that, Adam Peters also just said in his press conference yesterday that Josh Harris has done an excellent job of helping where he's needed, but also at the same time letting the football guys do the football things and not get in the way anyway at all. Adam Peters just said that himself yesterday. The exact quote was, he's been extremely supportive. If we've needed something, he's been there to provide that for us. But I'd say that that's really the extent of it. He's been awesome about letting us do what we do, unquote. So Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio, all of y'all, stop finding angles to try to hate on the Commanders. Leave us be. Let us be great, man. This is a whole new regime. This is not Dan Snyder. This is not Jay Gruden, Ron Rivera, all these other coaches we've had. This is not Bruce Allen. This is a completely different thing we have going on right now. The only thing that's the same is the place where we practice and the place that we play. That's literally it. So please leave us alone, man. But either way, they're going to probably keep doing it all the way up to the draft to keep generating clicks and views. Because like the point that was brought up earlier, there's not much to talk about. We already know who's going number 1 overall. It seems like most people already know who's going number 2 overall. We got to make something interesting for people to keep watching these people podcasts and videos leading up to the draft. So that's what they got to do. They got to manufacture the drama, and that's what they're doing just now. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Please let me know in the comment section how you feel about all of this drama that we just discussed in this video, all of the different reporting going back and forth, the fact that we're talking about agents. We're talking about agents right now. We're talking about reports from Adam Schefter, not even Jayden Daniels himself. And then, like several people pointed out that I've quoted in this video, it doesn't even matter how much Jayden Daniels may not want to play for the Washington Commanders. We can still take him, and guess what he's going to have to do? Go out there and play for the Washington Commanders. Let me know how you feel about this whole situation, of course, and Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk hating, and a lot of media members out there digging for whatever hate and drama they could potentially find, but there's nothing to find right now, for real, to be completely honest with you. Of course, do not leave this video without leaving a like, and stay tuned because I'm hitting y'all with a bunch of content. Probably going to come out with a film session sometime late tonight, so stay tuned for that. And again, I'm working on a mock draft. I'm going to schedule a live stream before the draft for y'all to call in and voice your opinions and give all of your live draft thoughts and whatever gems, late round gems that you want us to get, like rounds 4 or later, maybe even round 3, where you can give me your opinions on which quarterback you prefer and why, all of that type of stuff. So stay tuned for all of the content on the way. We're about to be very busy on this channel. When in doubt, just keep coming back to the RicoScores YouTube channel and refreshing, because more than likely I've put out some type of video or live stream that you have missed since the last time you were here. So stay tuned. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.